I will never get tired of this music. It's so good. Hello, Black War Greymon. I almost called you Black War Growlmon. That would have been incorrect. That is a different Digimon entirely. Bow. 7 Heavens! Thunderball would probably do just as good, but, you know. I like 7 Heavens. We're about to level up Cherubimon. Yo! That's a very ominous amount of experience you have left to go there. Where I got Garurumon, that's a little disconcerting. Yeah, we're getting Darkdramon well before Dorugoramon. I thought that we were closer to Dorugoramon than we actually are. Ooh, hello. Grab it. Hello. There we go. Got that thing. Whatever the heck that is. Let's get a fight or two in here before we continue on. Hello, Hyandramon. Yo! I think we already had 105%, but now we're at 120%, so we are definitely good on Ghoulmon scan data now. We are all set to go on that front. Very nice. No longer have to worry about that favorite quest. It'll be ready to go whenever we need it. Hydro Frieza! How dare you? You really just want to die to the Cherubimon bear hug, don't you? Understandable. It is a glorious hug, indeed. Charge, you know, charge, hug, same difference. Almost 700 EXP. Please keep giving me those fights if you don't mind. Yeah, we'll just be able to Digivolve Growlmon immediately at 35. Dude, everyone is, I didn't say anything very specifically about it, but everyone has 99 aptitude now. We've done it, boys. I'm kind of thinking now I might not. Oh, yep, there's what's-his-face we gotta fight. I might not get Dorugoramon before the final main story boss fight. I might fight the final main story boss, and his experience will get us to 49 to be able to get Dorugoramon. Might do it that way. I can't even remember this guy's name that we're about to fight. All I know is that he likes Beast Digimon. I like this game a lot. It's a lot of fun, but, like, despite being called, you know, it's called Digimon World DS. I explained this at the start of the playthrough, but for those of you who don't remember, this game is called Digimon World DS in the West, but it is a Digimon Story game. It's called Digimon Story DS in Japan, but localization people, localizers, however you want to call it, are stupid and changed it to Digimon World DS, I guess to make, like, the people in the West be like, oh, Digimon World. I played Digimon World when I was a child. This must be related to that, so I want to play it, because the first Digimon World, I think, was pretty popular in the West, all things considered, but they changed the name of it. Same thing with Digimon World Dawn and Dusk. There's supposed to be Digimon Story Dawn and Dusk, but back to what I was originally saying. Despite being called a story game, this game does not have much of a story to it. It's very paper thin and not very great, but, you know, it works. You know, it's a DS game from back in the day. It's not supposed to be the most complex thing of all time. I want to get one more fight before we fight this guy. That reminds me of a comment I got not long ago. And, yeah, you know, we got time. I can talk about this for a bit, because we're not going to get to the boss while I'm busy talking about it, but because I might go on a tangent for a bit here while we're fighting all these freaks. But anyways, I got a comment from someone back on, I think it was Hacker's Memory, my Hacker's Memory playthrough. I get comments on Digimon World Next Order, Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth, and Hacker's Memory all the time, because people find my channel for Digimon, and then they're like, oh, I gotta go watch every Digimon playthrough he ever did, which I appreciate greatly. I'm not saying that as like, why do people do that? I do stuff like that too. I'd go back and watch old playthroughs as well from people I like. And I greatly appreciate you guys watching current and old playthroughs, so you know. It's always great, and if there's a comment someone leaves on a video, even if it's on an old video like that, if it's a comment that I think that I should reply to, I reply to even old comments like that. But sometimes I don't reply to comments because it'll be something like, something I don't understand. This is not the tangent I wanted to go on, but I'll get back to that in a second. Something I don't understand is people will go and watch a playthrough like Digimon World Next Order, and they'll be on like part 7, and they'll leave a comment explaining to me what I didn't understand about the game back in part 7, and like, no, you don't get it, you have to do this, and you need to do this, and all that. And then I'm just like, yeah, do you like see the playlist and when this was uploaded? I played this game for 180 parts, like leaving helpful tips. I appreciate helpful tips when people leave them like when I'm still doing the playthrough, but if you're going back to a playthrough that I did in 2017, leaving a tip like, hey, here's how you do this in Digimon World Next Order. There are two important things to take into account. One, I'm long done with the game. I did over 180 parts on it, I think, of Digimon World Next Order, for instance. So, like, I'm long done with the game. That advice is pointless now. Second of all, you know, there are like another 170 parts ahead of you. I'm pretty sure that whatever advice you're giving, I've figured out by now. And that's the case 9 times out of 10, is like, yeah, I figured that out in like part 14. If you just watched like 6 more videos, you'd see like, oh, he figured it out himself in like 6 more videos. Or another comment had left me that advice back when it was still relevant. But, you know, go ahead. I mean, comments help my videos, so I don't know why I'm trying to talk people out of leaving comments, but I just don't understand it, I guess. I'm just really confused as to why people do that. Do they think that, like, I'm going to see that comment and be like, oh, dude, now I can go back in time, and that way I would have known it in part 9 instead of, like, part 14 when I figured it out myself, or a different comment told me. It just blows my mind. That's not the tangent I wanted to get into, but I'll get into the other tangent after we talk to Kazuya, which is his name here. What, like a kazoo? Hey, Kazuya, it's me. Anyone who defies Alphamon will have to deal with me. No way. Is Kazuya being controlled also? No, I don't think he's being controlled. That sounds like Kazuya. I mean, like, from what I remember of his dialogue, he was always going on about fighting people who go against Alphamon. I'll need to fight to get him back. Let's go. I can't believe I forgot these little mini battles. That is not a beast. That is a dark Digimon. I thought you were all about beasts. Hey, that's not fair. I have a Cherubimon Evil. You can't do that. I am the one who Cherubimons. How's my man gonna have 2 Venom Myotismon? That's just not cool, man. It's not fair. I don't think Milo Myotismon is in this game, is he? I think Milo Myotismon was added in Dawn and Dusk, if I remember right. Oh my goodness, they're made of paper mache. I love it. Anyways, the other tangent I wanted to get into was about story and stories in video games, and mostly dialogue. Because I got a comment on a Hacker's Memory video. Yo, it has almost 1,000 experience. That's really good. 2 more levels on Groundmon, not bad. And we are only 2,000 away from Digivolving Garurumon. We're not going to get Dorugoramon before the final boss, but that's fine. So we can just, like, rush to the final boss now, I think. Unless I do decide I want to level grind up Dorugoramon. Huh? What am I doing here? Kazuya, you're back to your senses. It's dangerous here. Use the gate ahead and hurry back to Digi Central. I'm not sure what's going on, but okay. Actually, no, we will get Dorugoramon because I want to get Crowmon and War Growlmon before the final boss. Even Kazuya was being controlled. If everybody's being controlled like this, I'll have to stop Alphamon for sure. Oh, gee, I wonder who the next controlled person we could run into is. But anyways, yeah, someone left a comment on my story. I had said in a video of Hacker's Memory that Digimon Story games or specifically Digimon Story, Cyber Sleuth, and Hacker's Memory get bogged down a little bit by unnecessary dialogue. I didn't go back and watch the video, so I don't know what dialogue I was talking about, but I'm sure it was something where someone was just talking non-stop or repeating themselves, and I was like, okay, yeah, I get it. Which, I want to preface this by saying I think Hacker's Memory does it less. It's definitely Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth that has way too much dialogue in it. Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth has a lot of dialogue, and a lot of that dialogue is either repeat or pointless. It's either repetitive or pointless, and just doesn't mean anything. So, yeah. But Hacker's Memory has a little bit of it as well, just not as bad. I'm trying to just get some random fights here as I get this tangent started. But someone left a comment with, like, quotation marks of me saying, like, Digimon Story games get a little bogged down by dialogue. And then they like, put the word story in all caps, like, dialogue. In a story game, stories have dialogue, like, in the most condescending manner possible. And I was just like, okay, you're one of those commenters. But anyways, they did that, and I was like, oh, I gotta respond to this. And so I responded to him like, yes, stylogs? What, am I okay? But my dialogue is bad, if anything. But I said, like, yeah, stories do have dialogue. What an astute observation, you know, got a little snarky back at him, because that's just how I am. Yo, 1 more level for Darkdramon, let's go. Which means I'm gonna have to edit the layout, joy oh joy. But anyways, I was like, just because dialogues have story, dialogues have story? Am I okay? Am I losing my mind? I'm supposed to stream for 4 hours in, like, 2 hours from now? It's not boding too well for that stream. But, I was like, stories do have dialogue, you're right. But, normally, a good story will have, like, and by the way, Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth story is, like, okay. I don't remember liking it that much. I thought it was fine, but I wasn't a huge fan of it. I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was bad. But Hacker's Memory has a great story as far as I'm concerned. The story in Hacker's Memory is especially good. I love it. And I still like Cyber Sleuth and Hacker's Memory. I like Hacker's Memory more, but Cyber Sleuth, even though the story wasn't as great, stop missing, please. I still enjoyed a good deal. But anyways, I was like, good stories, like really good stories, like have an appropriate amount of dialogue. And, you know, I kind of tried to make that point that, like, hey, you know, just because, I think Yugi is right through that doorway. I want to get Darkdramon first. But, I was like, you know, I love stories in video games. I'm not saying that, like, stories should have, or that games should have less dialogue in general, because I play JRPGs, man. I play, like, the Tales of series, and Kingdom Hearts, and, stuff like Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn has a really good story. Spider-Man PS4 has a really good story. They all have dialogue. But the thing is they have a much more appropriate amount of dialogue. The Cyber Sleuth games have too much dialogue, and a lot of their dialogue is unnecessary or repetitive. It'll be random side story stuff like that. I will always remember this vividly whenever I want to talk about Cyber Sleuth having too much dialogue, is that there's one episode in my Digimon Story Cyber Sleuth playthrough. And this was back when I was doing 15-minute videos instead of 20-minute videos. And also, I think, by the way, haha, Darkdramon, love it. I don't know why I laughed, but got Darkdramon, big fan. But anyways, and also, for some reason in my Cyber Sleuth playthrough, I didn't read the dialogue, even though it was in Japanese. I should have read it, but I didn't for some reason. So, dude, Darkdramon is so sick. I love Darkdramon's design. Like, low-key, really high on my Digimon Mega ranking. Really good Mega level Digimon. Confusion proof. What do I want to be immune to? Confusion or sleep? Because I want to keep all these others. I'd rather be immune to confusion. I almost didn't change your name. That would have been bad. But, there's one episode in that playthrough, one 15-minute episode, where 12 of the 15 minutes is Sutō talking. It's just Sutō talking to Arata. And, like, I'd have to go back and look at that video to be certain, but from what I remember of it, a lot of what Sutō said was either, like, repetitive or pointless. Like, I looked through that, I remember looking through that dialogue when I rendered the video the first time and being like, Sutō could have cut out, like, probably 7 to 8 minutes of this 12-minute dialogue, and I still would have learned everything I needed to. Bloody claws. Scratch an enemy with 3 claws and steal their HP, sounds sick. Occasional sleep, occasional paralysis. Alright, not the best moveset ever, but not bad. I don't think I have any dragon weapons to get you. I should have bought your dragon weapons before coming here. I mean, I could equip a low-level weapon to you. I have the dragon fist. Oh, it's level 50. Yeah, that's probably... I'm not even going to buy a dragon sword then. That's good enough. Whoops. Level 40 dragon thing is also fine. Probably will go with that. I don't want the ultimate barrier. Yeah, go ahead and give me the wyvern guard, I guess is what that's supposed to be. And then I don't think we have a specific dragon ring. The Aegis ring. Oh, that's for holy Digimon. Have I not been using the experience ring? No, I think you had the experience ring on and then you leveled up. Or you digivolved, I mean, plus 20 speed is ideal, but actually just give me the experience ring for now to keep upping our experience. That'll be nice. All right, love it. But anyways, yeah, like, Cyber Sleuth games just have too much dialogue that is unnecessary. Then there's, like, there are some of the missions in Cyber Sleuth where it's like, you spend 10 to 15 minutes being a food critic for some reason. And, like, I'm not against random things like that where it's like, oh, let's put some levity in the game and just have this random little side thing that doesn't really relate to the story or anything. I'm fine with that. But having, like, 10 to 15 minutes where it's just over and over, you go to, like, 4 different restaurants, and each time it's just, like, literally a food critique of, like, your character saying, like, oh, this food explodes in your mouth like a flurry of flavor. I'm obviously not a food critic. I can't even make that kind of flowery language. But, like, it's just so ridiculous and bad in my eyes that I'm just, like... The game could have really done, like, that kind of scene would be fine if it was relegated to only being, like, maybe 5 minutes long. Like, they go to 1, maybe 2 restaurants and do that. Instead, I think they have you do, like, 3 or 4. And it's just, it's too much. There's too much extra dialogue and stuff in Cyber Sleuth that makes it feel like a slog. And then there are other games that just do stuff like that better. I stuttered a little bit there. But Yugi was way further away than I realized. My mistake. But this area is bigger than I realized. In fact, we might not even, because I've been taking my time with fighting more enemies to get experience, we're probably not going to have enough time to get a favor quest done today, but that's fine, honestly. If we spend a whole session finishing the main story, I'm okay with that. That works out just fine. Now that I'm done with my those 2 classes, I'm going to be spending a lot more time wrapping up this. Like, I'm probably gonna record a lot of Digimon over the next couple of days and just finish the series and then get it uploaded at a reasonable speed. Because I do also... Let's get one more fight to Digivolve Graumon to War Graumon. I do also really want to, I want to, do the thing, whatever it is I'm trying to say. I want to do that Hacker's Memory in G+ soon, now that I've been talking about Hacker's Memory for this video. But, how was I going to finish that? I don't remember now. But anyways, yeah, games like Persona. Persona, I think, does it a lot better. Persona has random things here and there where it's, like, not really related to the story or whatnot, and a lot of times things for Persona that aren't related to story are really heavily focused on character development, which is really good. And then sometimes it's not even about character development. They just have a random little funny thing, or they have random little, like in Persona, it's like if you want to inject some random knowledge. Another thing I remember specifically from Cyber Sleuth, I remember there was one time where we did a side mission that I don't believe was related, or maybe it was part of the main mission or something, but the point is it had something to do with the ley lines in Japan, and how, like, Japan believes they're related to spiritual energy and all that, and Kyoko explained, I think her name is Kyoko, the woman who became Alphamon, which was, like, my least favorite thing about Cyber Sleuth, because I hated that, but, Kyoko explained the Japanese ley lines and the history behind them and how they work with spiritual energy for, like, 7 minutes straight. And I was just like, dude, I'm all cool about learning this information, but you could have gotten this information to me, like, told me everything I need to know about it in, like, 2 to 3 minutes or less. And instead, you're dragging it out to, like, an 8-minute affair, and I'm just so tired of listening to Kyoko talk about this. Like, please stop. Then you got games like Persona, where in Persona 5, you'll have moments where it's, like, because it's set in a school setting, you'll get during the school day, it'll be, like, they'll tell you good information about something, or in Persona 5, where when you make coffee, Sodro will come and tell you about the coffee and give you some information about it, and they keep that nice little snippet of new information and teaching you something to, like, 2, maybe 3 minutes or less. Like, it's short, sweet, gives you a nice little information on something that isn't particularly relevant to the game, or to the main story, or to character development, and it gets done fast. Cyber Sleuth, like, does that kind of thing, where it tries to give you stuff that isn't relevant to character development or the characters, but they take way too long doing it. And so it just feels like a slog. Dude, I love Darkdramon. Give me that. The Iritaka Bear. Yo! That's for, that goes with the Iritaka Sword. That's a bird thing. Alright, we don't have to buy bird weapons, then we just need a bird ring. I love that. But anyways, yeah, someone left a comment, like, getting on to me about, like, it's called Story, has dialogue, duh. And I'm like, yeah, you know. But that doesn't excuse the fact that there's a lot of pointless dialogue that just makes the game feel like it drags on for no reason. Like, they could have done a good amount of dialogue that got a good story, or at least an okay story across, in a much more efficient manner, but they didn't. We just got the Iritaka ring. Yo, let's go. I got all of the bird stuff I needed without having to pay a single cent. I love that. What are the odds? Now I just got to get Dorugoramon. And after I left my comment telling the person, like, why I disagreed with them, they went to being really polite about it. They were like, you know, I didn't mean to be rude or anything like that. It's just a pet peeve of mine when people say that dialogue is annoying in games. And I can understand that because like, there are definitely, I've seen people in the video game spectrum that are just, like, they're very much of the opinion, like, I don't care about any story stuff, like, keep the story to a minimum and just focus entirely on the gameplay. And for some games that makes sense, because some games are focused more around gameplay than they are the story and whatnot. But for other games, like the Digimon games, I think, kind of lean themselves to both. Like, the gameplay and the story are important, I feel like, in the Digimon universe. Specifically, I'm thinking of JRPGs like the Tales of series. Like, for me, at least, in the Tales of games, in most games I play, and then games like Horizon Zero Dawn and Spider-Man, the story is just as important to me as the gameplay. Sometimes even more so. Sometimes I care more about the story and the character development more than I do the gameplay. That being said, if the gameplay is absolutely terrible, that'll ruin the game overall for me. It'll make the game really difficult for me to enjoy overall. Like with Spectrobes, I enjoyed Spectrobes 1 and Spectrobes 2, Beyond the Portals. I like those games because I like the concept of them, I like the monsters in them, and I'm a fairly good fan of the story and characters in them. But they're not fantastic, but they're good enough. But the gameplay in them is pretty terrible. I don't want to talk about these misses. The gameplay in them is pretty terrible, and that makes the games really hard to enjoy overall. Thankfully, the third Spectrobes game has really good story, characters. Maybe not really good, but good enough story and characters. I did not mean to use this. I meant to use this. And also, the gameplay gets really good in Spectrobes Origins, so I'm looking forward to when I finally get to play that. But, you know, some people are just like, only focus on the gameplay, keep the story and stuff to the minimum, and then they complain about when there's any amount of... If there's like a 6-minute cutscene, even if it's like a pivotal moment in the game, they're just like, I'm so tired of this, I don't want to hear this, get over it. And I'm just like, dude, come on, this is like really important stuff. You know, the dialogue I'm complaining about in Cyber Sleuth is not really important character building, story important stuff. I'm talking about the dialogue in Cyber Sleuth where it's just, like, meaningless and doesn't really matter, and you could either cut it down by, like, you could, like, cut it in half and still get the same point across, but they stretch it out for no reason and it becomes annoying. That's the dialogue I'm complaining about. Normal dialogue, like, I'm all for in a game if you hit me up with, like, we're almost at the end, by the way. Right, there's the boss sign. That boss sign is actually going to be a mini-boss and then the final boss. But, anyways. But, yeah, it's like, in Cyber Sleuth, there's just too much dialogue that can be cut down or minimized, and so it feels like it drags on really long. But then, like, when you've got dialogue in, like, Kingdom Hearts and Tales of, they do it a lot better, where it's, like, a reasonable length, and even if it's a longer cutscene or whatnot, it's very important to character building or world building or, the plot line of the game. Whereas the Cyber Sleuth games just have too much dialogue thrown in that is just irrelevant or is repetitive or could be said in a shorter manner. So, yeah, you know, I just remembered that comment and wanted to get that off my chest and talk about it, because I had talked about it briefly with my friends in call, but I like to talk about stuff like that in videos. Anyways, let's focus on the game again. What? Yugi? Not him also? Hello. I commend you for getting this far, but this is as far as you're going to get. Yugi, it's me! Snap out of it! Ah, shut up! You're mine! Prepare yourself! He'll defeat me if I don't fight back! I guess I have no choice. We're gonna destroy this fool. My man's got a black Mega Gargramon and an Imp Dramon. Imperial Dramon. Where the heck is your Cyber Dramon? Cyber Dramon digivolve into Imperial Dramon somehow? One hit on you, two for Imperial Dramon. Okay. Should have done 2 hits on him, obviously. Okay. What is this, Persona 4 Golden? I'm just missing all over the place. Time to die. Oh my word, over 2,000 damage. Farewell. Only he gave less experience than Kazuya did. Okay. I have a decision to make here.